What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Movie Mob Podcast. We got a big episode this week. We're talking about a new Game of Thrones spinoff series from HBO. We're talking new news on the Jonathan Majors arrest and a new trailer for True Detective Night Country. Stick around to the end of the episode here. Nick and I dive deep into Succession Episode 4. Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Movie Mob Podcast, guys. Thank you for watching, as always. Like, subscribe. It means a lot to us. It helps the channel grow. We love having you here. Let's get into these news topics here. Let's kick it off with a big one out of HBO. Obviously, a lot of news out of HBO in the past week or so. Last week, they announced that HBO Max will now be called Max. Not a bright move, I don't think. No, yeah. But anyway, with that announcement, they put a lot of news for new series that are coming in the end of this year and next year, 2024. One of which is another Game of Thrones spinoff.
Because we need it. We need it. I was craving it.
Yeah, so obviously there's been a lot of Game of Thrones spinoffs in development. We were talking last week about the Aegon's Conquest one, the Jon Snow series, obviously, but none of them have been greenlit until now. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, The Hedge Knight, will be the title of this. And it's based on, if you're not familiar, George R.R. Martin's novella. It's a book part with 3 different short stories about basically this tall knight, Sir Duncan the Tall, and his little friend, Egg. But they actually released a log line for this series, too, for you not familiar with the book. And it says, a century before the events of Game of Thrones, 2 unlikely heroes wandered Westeros, a young, naive, but courageous knight, Sir Duncan the Tall, and his diminutive squire, Egg. Set in an age when Targaryen line still holds the Iron Throne and memory of the last dragon has not yet passed from living memory, great destinies, powerful foes, and dangerous exploits all await these improbable friends. So, it was blocked out.
Oh, is it?
The camera, I couldn't see
I'm
the other
sorry.
word. What do you think of this, Nick? So I've read this book. And like I said, it's like 3 100-page stories. So they're not like grand epics like the Game of Thrones books, but basically just tells the story of these 2 guys on little adventures. But there's the backdrop of the Targaryen Civil War, which has not yet happened yet, because obviously House of the Dragons before that. Any interest in this? You know, any skepticism? It's a different story. I'd compare it more to like Arya and the Hound. Does this logline intrigue you at all?
I'm not going to lie. I think it's moderately bizarre. The guy's name is Egg, the squire.
Well, his name is Aegon, and that's his nickname is Egg.
Okay.
Because he's a kid.
Yeah.
He's like 7.
Yeah. Memory of the last dragon has not yet passed from living. It's another show about people walking around.
Yeah.
That's about it, right? I heard, so we did, I've been looking, while you were saying that, the reason I'm a little out of it is because I was looking up our comments. We did have someone.
Yes, I believe.
Was it Deep Sneakers?
No.
Someone said, great news, Game of Thrones spinoff.
Yep.
Egg books. Oh, Phil Hug? Phil
yes.
Q? Phil whatever?
Big fan of the show. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Big Phil. Appreciate Phil.
Phil of the future.
Phil of the present.
Mm-hmm.
Great news. Game of Thrones spinoff announced Warner Brothers this week. Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, right? And that was one, but then we also saw, I thought we had another one too. Someone else mentioned it.
It's probably me replying to that comment.
No, it was Eden Rigo.
Yes.
Also said Knight of said something about Conquest is the only story in.
Yeah, that was talking about Aegon's.
Right.
Show.
Oh, okay. Deserves to be a movie. Okay, cool. So I'm excited, but I'm not like pumped.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, dude. I don't know, man. I like when there is content worth watching.
Yes.
So I'm not saying I don't want to see this,
mm-hmm.
but I just feel like if you get inundated with too much all at once, it just loses its. It loses its zing.
No, I agree. I think the important thing, though, to note is, like we said, we've been talking about multiple spinoffs in development, but they haven't greenlit them yet. So I think, to juxtapose that against, like, Lucasfilm and Star Wars, they greenlight everything. They're like, oh, this is happening. Now, it may not end up happening. Yeah.
Take it
but
back.
at least with HBO, they're saying, listen, we're considering a Jon Snow show. We're considering an Aegon show. They were considering this before, and now they're like, this is the one we choose to go forward with now.
So as of right now,
yes.
we're going to get a season 2 House of the Dragon and a season 1 Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
And they're not even, they greenlit the entire first season. So they're not even, so with that long night show that they canceled, they shot the pilot and then canceled it after that. With this, they're going to just go straight to series. So they must really like the scripts that they have here if they're not even going to, just go off the pilot.
Yeah. Will I watch it? Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I will definitely tune in. I don't have any sort of hopes or anything, probably because I haven't read the books. I am very excited about Game of Thrones Season 2. Question just about HBO and series that are coming out and stuff like that, really quick, not getting into a whole big thing. Have you watched Barry? Do you watch Barry?
No, but I feel like I should.
Well, yeah, because it's the final season 4, and they just dropped the first 2 episodes. Leave a comment down below if you think we should review Barry, just at all in general, because it's another HBO series. It's pretty funny, pretty good. Bill Hader, great guy.
Yeah, I like him.
I just watched the first 2 the other night, so that's all. I was just thinking about that. But yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I'll watch it. I just hope it doesn't become too much. Right. All at once.
And I think, let's say they do start shooting this maybe the end of this year. We'll probably get it maybe end of 2024, beginning of 2025. So I really don't think they're going to have like 3 Game of Thrones shows going at once.
Right.
So I'm holding out hope. And this, to me, is like a 3-season max show because there's only 3 short stories. So I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Speaking of HBO, though, we got a trailer for the new season of True Detective Season 4. Now, True Detective is a show that it has its ups and downs. Season 1, I got you watching that right now, Nick.
Yeah, I'm still in Season 1.
Matt McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. To me, that is one of, if not the best season of television. For me personally, it's just like a great story through and through that first season. A lot of mystery, a lot of intrigue, and great performances. Season 2 then happened. Colin Farrell, Vince Vaughn, Rachel McAdams, great actors. Vince Vaughn was miscast. He plays like a mob guy. It's pretty bad. The writing's really not great. Season 3 came back with Mahershala Ali, and it was definitely better than Season 2, but still Season 1 has yet to be touched for me. It's pretty perfect. I'm looking at this. We got Jodie Foster, somewhat of a rebrand here. They're calling it Night Country, obviously a reference to it taking place in Alaska. I'm in. I mean, I watched this trailer. It's got the tone down. I think Alaska is a really cool place to set something like this. Someone said to me the other day that it has the second highest crime rate of any state.
Wow.
Yeah, which I didn't know. And obviously it's cool in Alaska because they get that like 6 months of dark, 6 months of light stuff going on there. So, I mean, I'm excited for this. Jodie Foster, we were talking about before, this is an incredible actress. So
yeah, I mean, if anything, so the seasons, they stand alone.
Yeah, they're all anthology. Yeah.
So, I mean, I could jump right into this one too. I mean, season 1 so far is really good. I am a big Jodie Foster fan. I think she's an incredible actress. As you know, one of my favorite movies, Taxi Driver.
Yep.
Like she was incredible.
Well, it's crazy.
She was literally 11.
She's been in the industry since, when that movie came out, 77?
Yeah.
76?
76, 77, something like that.
Which is crazy.
And she was literally 11 years old. I mean, she played a prostitute at 11. I mean, she's incredible.
It's intense. And then she went on Silence of the Lambs, classic.
Unbelievable. Right. Yeah, so good. And she hasn't really done a whole ton of stuff, but the stuff that she does do is like quality.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I think it's important that
a lot of crap.
Yeah, that's something to take into account when you really don't see her as much anymore. And I think
she looks great.
Yeah,
dude.
she does. And I think True Detective's been known for bringing in big actors, movie stars. Like McConaughey and Woody Harrelson are movie stars. Like Colin Farrell, Rachel McAdams, like those guys are known for movies. So bringing them into a series is always going to get viewership, I think. So I'm not familiar with the other girl beside her, Callie Reese, I think her name is. I haven't seen her in anything that I know of, but
looks intense.
It looks intense.
And even though she's not Italian, she speaks Italian, Jodie Foster.
All right. Oh, really? Good to know. Good to know.
A lot of cool interviews.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they nailed the tone. Great performances I'm expecting from this. I think it comes out maybe late summer. Or so it's going to be, sometimes HBO doesn't tell you the release date till like 2 weeks before because they just know. You know, they know you're going to watch. So I'm going to be watching this.
That's why I'm nervous about the Game of Thrones thing.
Right.
Because I just hope that, I don't know, HBO's They've always been good, though.
Right.
But now with this merger with the other... Who did they merge with?
They didn't merge with anyone. It was just they merged Discovery Plus, the streaming service, and one or two. So just the stuff that was on there is now going to be also on HBO
So it was just
Max.
content?
Yes. And a rebrand name-wise.
Right.
Because they thought that HBO, the fact that it said HBO was like turning off viewers because they thought it was just HBO stuff.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense. They should have called it like Warner Bros. Max or Warner Max. Just Max doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, but I don't know. The content seems to be staying the same, so regardless of the name, we'll be watching. But someone we may not be watching. You know, we'll see how this pans out. Jonathan Majors, we had talked about his arrest. What was that, like 2 or 3 weeks ago? For domestic assault, strangulation. His lawyer came out right after it happened and claimed that they had video evidence and to support his innocence. None of that has come out yet, from what I've known. So a lot of talk from the lawyer and not a lot of show so far. But the other day, his management and PR team dropped him, which is obviously not a great sign. Because you got to think that his management would know the most out of anyone. You know, they're probably very close to him and his PR team especially. So, you know, it's not great news. I mean, this is less notable, but the Met Gala took him off their list. Yeah. Who really gives a shit?
Well, they came to a mutual agreement.
Yes,
him and Valentino, who he was going to be wearing.
Yep. A few commercials and stuff got shut down.
I got a hot take on this. So.
Here's the thing. We still really don't know anything more about this than we did when it initially happened. It's
victim blamer. You're a victim blamer.
Well, it's just been a lot of talk. It's been a lot of the lawyers saying this, that, you know, and I'd like to see some evidence. I'd like to hear some evidence. And you would think if Jonathan Majors was innocent, they would, if they had evidence, it would be out by now, right?
Yeah,
that's the thing that hasn't.
I don't know, because this is the thing that nobody seems to get is that there is something in this country, United States, called due process that it's shocking to me. I pulled, if you don't mind, I pulled a tweet, and I blocked everything out because I don't feel like that's even necessarily worth it. And the blue check marks these days mean nothing, so it could be probably as a nobody. But the tweet says, seeing Jonathan Major, and this is back from March when it first happened, seeing Jonathan Major's news and responding with A, Creed jokes, B, I knew he was bad when you didn't really know him.
Seen him.
Yep. C, oh my God, he broke my heart and betrayed me when you don't even know him. And, sounds like a lie, or concerns for the MCU.
Yep.
Then they say it's pretty demented, parasocial, or inhumane in the wake of DV, meaning, domestic violence.
Okay.
So they covered pretty much the entire gambit of opinion there. You can't say that you're upset that it happened.
Yeah.
You can't say that you knew he was bad. You can't make jokes. You can't talk about his work. You can't talk about anything except for the victim, which may not even be the victim. Have we learned nothing from the Johnny Depp situation? And I'm not even saying the guy didn't do it, but there is a process that needs to happen that seems to just always get thrown out the window. And I said it on the last time we talked about this when it first happened and he got arrested, and I'm going to say it again. If he committed these crimes, the guy deserves every punishment to the full extent of the law.
Yeah.
If he didn't, though, look what they're putting this guy through.
I know. It's tough.
It's really, and all it means is you wait. You shut the fuck up and you wait until you know all of the information and then you make a decision. I do think it is, I will agree with this person a little bit in the sense that when people are like, oh, he broke my heart, blah, blah, blah.
It's like
grow up, dude. You know what I mean?
They're actors.
But I mean, for these people that I read an article, I read Vanity Fair on this, and I read a couple articles, but one of them was saying it's demented and disgusting and gross that people are concerned about the future of the Marvel universe over this. And I'm like, what if you're a 6-year-old who looked up to Ant-Man Quantumania or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What if you just bought what if you just bought your kid a whole bunch of stuff that's like Creed 3 or whatever it is, and now what, you return it because he's accused of something that we don't know what the you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's disappointing.
Right, and it's a big deal for the MCU. I know you're not as into it, but he's been set up for this future now.
Right.
He's the big bad. He's the villain. At the end of Quantumania, we saw all these Kang variants, and they were all played by him. So it's like, now listen, like when you do multiverse stuff, you could always recast a new actor.
Of course.
But Marvel has yet to release or say anything about him yet. Now, I wonder, though, if it has to do, because Loki, the show, season 2 comes out this summer. They already shot it completely, and he is in it.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're waiting for that to come out, because if they say he's not going to be Kang moving forward before that comes out.
Nobody will watch the show.
Right.
Right.
Right. So you wonder, do they plan on dropping him and they're waiting for that to go over? Or maybe they're actually sifting this out. I don't know.
I want to make it clear, though. Like, I don't feel bad for him, especially if he committed these crimes. But I feel like the reason people are concerned about the MCU is the same reason that, like, you know, God forbid, and I mean, I don't want to talk about people that aren't here. I was going to use Matt as an example, but that's he can't even say anything about it. But let's say you had some weird charge come up against you or whatever. Yeah. Like, it affects me and my company. For someone to say, Jesus, Nick, I'm sorry. Like, let's say that, like, I don't know, I did something. I don't know. Like, you know, if something happened, it's not necessarily inappropriate. And by the way, when I say, oh, I feel bad, I feel bad that, like, the situation even happened.
Right.
Like,
you don't want this to happen.
Yeah.
No one wants this to happen.
It's a crappy situation. Yeah. And, like, every time, it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Every single time, whether it's too much Star Wars stuff or some guy who flies off the handle or some girl who accuses a guy of flying off the handle. But I don't know. I think if the Johnny Depp, just, you know, in summation of my ridiculousness, if the Johnny Depp situation taught us anything, it's to just ride the wave. I mean, we're talking about it.
And everything's not black and white.
Right.
This complex nature.
Just wait and see what happens. And then if he's guilty, he'll be guilty.
Yeah.
It always comes out. Don't lie and don't commit crime, because you will always get caught 100% of the time, especially in today's day and age. They know where you are. They know what you're saying. They know who you're talking to. They know where your car is. Mm-hmm. They know everything. You're going to get caught. So if something really bad happened, just wait. It's coming to them. But don't tell people that they're horrible people for saying, like, gee, I really like that guy. I thought he was really cool.
Right, they're just voicing their opinion.
And then now they feel bad that the situation even happened. You know? I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, obviously in a perfect world, his management team and stuff would maybe wait until there was actually, you know, concrete evidence. But when money's on the line.
So that's the one part I wasn't understanding, right? So nothing's come out yet. We don't have any information on, like, because the trial hasn't happened or anything like that. And the PR team, public relations, their job is kind of to cover up when Bill Clinton sleeps with Monica Lewinsky. Yeah. Like, their job is to not cover it up, but, like, smooth it. Oh, wasn't that bad? You know,
that's why you got to wonder, is it bad? And they know.
Or was he just, like, paying them a whole bunch of money and they are not going to do their job?
Right.
Which happens. I mean, stuff like that happens. Yeah. But that's, I don't know. We'll follow the story. Mm-hmm. We'll keep updating.
I mean, I was under the impression, maybe I read something wrong, that the girl backtracked the charges anyway after the fact. I don't even know if it is going to trial, but
he got arraigned. So they haven't
he did?
Yeah,
okay.
He got arraigned the next morning.
Yeah.
For the charges, but nothing's happened yet, and there's still news coming out. Mm-hmm. As you said, what was this most recent headline? Oh, that they dropped him.
Yeah,
they're not gonna drop him if there's no charges. The charges stuck, which is why they probably dropped him.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm sure we'll get hopefully more information, more clarity on this soon. So we'll cover that when that happens. But
crazy.
Obviously, we hope everything proves to be false. But we'll see. You know, some things happen. Let's talk about Martin Scorsese, one of our favorite directors here, in his new movie that is coming out this year, finally, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Thank God we have a new picture. Yeah.
Oh, after, 3 years of looking at Leo sitting at this table staring up at God. But I mean, I'm excited for this movie. It's based on a novel, true story, I believe.
Yeah.
Something about Native American
he does
lands.
This quite a bit. Goodfellas, everything. It's all based on true stories.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he never writes his scripts. I don't think they're mostly based off something. But runtime came in for this one, and it's 3 minutes shorter than The Irishman at 3 hours and 26 minutes. Am I thrilled about this runtime? No, I'm not. I thought The Irishman was quite a long movie.
It's shorter than The Irishman.
Yeah, well, 3 minutes. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Marty.
When they give runtimes, does those include credits?
Yes.
Okay,
so I believe this is going to be on Apple TV Plus. I'm sure it'll have a theatrical run to qualify for the Oscars, but Marty seems to have no problem putting his shit on streaming services because they seem to give him the $300 million to make a movie like this.
If you got the money.
Right.
And you know that the quality is going to be good. He doesn't make a movie every year.
Yeah.
He's not one of these, like, we talk about it with Star Wars all the time and how they just listen, Favreau's a great director, right? But he's no Marty Scorsese.
No, yeah.
Scorsese is same with like Tarantino, somebody who they have a limited thing that they want to make.
Yeah.
He EPs a lot of stuff. Executive producer Marty Scorsese, a lot of stuff.
But the thing about this to me is like, just because you can get 300, 200, I don't know what the budget was but just because you can get 200 million, should you? Because Marty could probably have made this movie earlier in his career in the 90s, say, for half the money. And it's still, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I don't know if he would have. I mean, he was still in his, like, you know how you go through stuff, dude. Like,
I understand that, but I'm saying I don't think movies that he makes need that budget.
RJ, right now a carton of eggs is like $15.
Right, sure.
I mean, 200 million.
But The Irishman, like, he went through all that process of doing the de-aging, and it ended up really not looking that great.
Yeah, but it opened up the door to a lot of new technology.
Sure. But for Netflix, I don't know the exact numbers, but I guarantee that investment did not pay off. Because I don't think a lot of people subscribe to Netflix just to watch The Irishman.
No, but I think a lot of people watch The Irishman.
Sure, yeah, but enough to offset the $200 million they gave him? I don't know.
I don't know either.
But I mean, listen, so now he's on Apple TV. They gave him the money now.
And like wherever the bag is, go get the bag.
Right. Like that's true.
It doesn't matter. Like look at Rings of Power or Lord of the Rings in general. Like,
yeah.
Amazon had a shot, they blew it. HBO was like, we'll take it. You know what? Here's money.
Yeah.
So it's not all is lost. That's all.
Right. So I mean, you're excited for this. Obviously,
it's Marty Scorsese.
It's Marty.
Listen, the Irishman is not like all that in a bag of chips, RJ. But let me tell you, it's still Marty. I still liked The Irishman. Lengthy,
yes.
Sure,
100%.
It's still good.
And it's Leo and De Niro.
Dude.
Yeah, you can't get better than that. I believe Jesse Plemons is in it too, so it's a great cast. Interesting story. I'm going to stay away. I don't want to know what it's about, really.
Yeah. Well, that's probably a good thing because they're not giving you any more than this picture anyway.
That's all we're getting. But I don't know. I'm really excited. To me, Steven Spielberg's the greatest director of all time because I think he's got more range than Marty does in terms of the movies he's made. But I do, like, if you look at Marty's movies, I can't name a bad one off the top of my head.
Right. And not like The Irishman you have qualms with.
Yes.
But it's not a
not a bad
film,
movie, but
right.
Spielberg has bad movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, we love Marty. I'm sure this movie's going to be great. I'll sit there for the 3.5 hours. Maybe not in theaters. We'll see. But
I don't know. I feel like, just to go off what you just said, though, like not on and on, I'm just saying, like, going off of that, I think part of the range is one thing, but, when you're good at something, it's like Marty found his niche. It's like I don't want to say it's like crime. It's crime. It's
heavy on the
following
crime.
Criminals.
Yes.
But it's also it's more on the, I don't want to say it's on the side of the criminals. I don't know what his genre is.
He does throw in the occasional, like, Last Temptation of Christ or Silence, Cape Fear. He does dip out a little bit, but
a little. But for the most part, it usually, like Wolf of Wall Street, it follows a criminal.
And he did that animated film too. Or was it animated? It wasn't animated. Hugo. You know that one?
No.
Yeah, Hugo. It was kind of like a kids movie. It was based off a book. Yeah, but he did that.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But so like but my point is that it's very clear that he likes what he likes.
Yes.
And when he sees a story, it's probably going to be a crime drama of some sort. And that's how Marty flies. Like that's how Marty.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Marty
right?
McFlies. Yeah. So no, but like that's just, I don't know. That's what he does. He is a filmmaker and he's awesome.
He is. We love him.
We do.
And we're excited for this. We haven't got an exact release date, but it's this year, so we'll be reviewing it whenever that drops. But
I'll be there.
Speaking of reviews, let's get into it. This week's episode of Succession came out, episode 4. Obviously, guys, spoilers if you're watching the show and haven't seen this episode.
Be prepared. Be prepared for some.
This is the first episode without Logan Roy, without Brian Cox in the role. Obviously, we had a shocking episode at Connor's wedding with Logan dying suddenly on the plane. And this episode's basically the aftermath.
The next day, yeah.
And not a funeral yet, but it's kind of just like everyone getting together at Logan's house and kind of, it's kind of like a borderline wake, I would say they're having there, and just regrouping after such a traumatic event.
Yeah, everybody coming together, all the important people.
And I think what's interesting about this episode is you see the effect already of him not being there, in the sense that all the characters suddenly aren't scared anymore. Like Frank, Carl, guys who would have been
for different reasons. And I think it's funny because in one episode, Logan does say to Kendall, I think it is, that he's Kendall's like, it's not a big dick contest.
Yes,
We've talked about this before.
episode,
and Logan's like, sometimes it is.
Yep.
And so you this is one of those moments where you see like, look at mine, look how big mine is.
Well, exactly. Now everyone's on the same plane there, and
Right.
you see guys like Frank and Carl who, if Logan was in the room, they'd sit back and just like not say anything. Now they're on the attack.
Do you want to dive in? So I put the pictures that you put in. I put them in order. Right off the bat, we start off with Kendall hasn't slept.
Yep.
Freak of nature.
Right.
Sitting in the corner. You know what I mean?
And then
Roman's just brushing the teeth. But then we got this.
Yeah, so this was the opening. This was a shocker. So Shiv gets a phone call from her doctor about test results, and then it comes out at the end that she's pregnant about 5 months?
Yeah, something
or so
like that.
about that. She's got to go in for a 5-month exam, 20-week
20
exam.
week, yeah. Do we know if this is pre or post breakup with Tommy Boy?
Well, it would have to be. I don't know. All right, so in the end of season 3, when they're in Italy, is when Tom is talking to her about having kids, and they joke about freezing.
Well,
Remember that?
Because Tom was saying they're saying that I would go away for about 9 months.
Yes.
So it's just like an incubation period, basically, and she freaks out.
And then at the end of that season is when obviously Tom betrays her. So I don't know. That's a good question, because then when we pick back up in this season at the beginning, they've been estranged. So you got to wonder.
But for how long, though? Do we know?
I don't know. A few months at least have passed, I think, between seasons.
Sure. But on their frickin' wedding night, Shiv said to Tom, at the very last episode of season 1 is their wedding.
Yeah.
And on their wedding night, she was like, I don't know if I'm qualified to be in a monogamous marriage.
Right.
So she sleeps
we
around.
know that she sleeps around. It's interesting. She obviously hasn't told Tom yet.
She hasn't told anybody yet.
Yeah, she hasn't told anybody. I mean, you could speculate all you want about who the father is. I'd probably bet money it's Tom still. I think the timing could work out. We obviously don't know how much time was in between, but maybe not. Maybe that's why she's scared to tell him. Maybe she does think it's someone else. Where do you land on this?
The crazy part is that this is like the day after the dad died.
Yeah.
So there's like so much shit hitting the fan all at once. Yep. I mean, a pregnancy, regardless of the timing, is news. Like you're bringing another life potentially into the world. Mm-hmm. But if you couple that with like your dad dying, I think it'll be a boy. I think they're going to name it Logan if we see that at all. I feel like that would be suitable, but it also might be like too cliche. I don't know. Yeah. Regardless of all that stuff.
It'll be like when Rob Stark was going to have a kid and name it Ned, and then he got killed right after.
Right. Right. I increasingly dislike Shiv but listen, they're all narcissistic. They all suck. All right. When I say I don't like Shiv, I don't like any of them really. Yeah. I only liked Logan, and now he's dead.
Right.
But now it's one of those things, and I only say that because not like he was so nice, but I feel like I understood him a little bit, and Logan was not as like sneaky and conniving.
He didn't flip-flop
as everyone. No, you always knew where he stood.
Yes.
It's all business all the time, very easy to read. And you always knew what you got with him. But it's not this chess match thing that everybody always has going on. And now that she doesn't tell anybody, of course, because that would like put her at, whatever. And so they go to the party. We have this next picture here where Mattson calls Roman and he doesn't pick up the call.
Yep.
And they talk about it at first.
Right. And I knew right when they said it, like, they're going to call him back. He's not going to answer.
Yeah.
Which happened. Yeah.
So the Oscar guy answers the phone. Mm-hmm. And this was a weird scene for me. Was it weird for you, the phone call?
Like
the fact that Mattson was like, yeah, rough one. Not him, but his assistant, whatever that was on the phone, was like,
yeah. I think he's playing. He knows he has leverage now, and I think now that Logan's dead, and he knows that
but like no respect for like someone's father dying.
Yeah,
he said, he's like, so yeah, that's a real rough one for you guys. Can you send somebody out in 24 hours to finalize this deal?
Because he wants it to be done as soon as possible. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't want it to be delayed. He said, we found that out in the episode before. He doesn't want them to ask for more money. He's just all business right now.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I know.
I don't really think he was fond of any of them, even Logan. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
He was kind of doing it strictly from a business standpoint.
I did find it interesting, I'm not going to lie, that he called Roman.
Well, I think he's got the closest relationship apart from Logan with Roman.
But it's a business deal.
Right.
So,
but
like,
he hadn't talked to Kendall and Shiv before.
I'm not even talking about Kendall and Shiv. He didn't call Frank. He didn't call Jerry. He didn't call anybody at the corporate lawyer.
Remember
Hugo?
in Italy or Switzerland when Logan and Roman went to meet with him that first time?
Yep.
It was just them two.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. It's just funny because we're talking about like who's in line next, like where's the show going to go? So it is kind of cool. Like this is the biggest deal so far in the show, I would say.
And I think, there's that scene when they go to the bathroom together, Mattson and Roman, and they piss on the app on their phone. So they've interacted with each other and had a they somewhat like each other.
Moderately homosexual.
Yes, sure. But it's interesting. So the Mattson thing keeps lingering. I think I saw in the preview for next episode we're finally going to see him in person, which we've been waiting for. But yeah, this goes on. We get some funny scenes, obviously back and forths. Let's talk about.
Well, this is important right after this phone call.
Yes,
this is huge.
Hugo.
So as Kendall is walking in to go meet with everybody, so they all kind of decide they're going to meet at Logan's house. As he's walking in, Hugo is downstairs on the phone saying to somebody on the phone, "You really fucked me in the ass,
You put a strap on and you."
Yeah, and Kendall hears this.
Yeah.
And then later after the phone call with Oscar, it's revealed that Hugo, who apparently doesn't have that great of a relationship with his daughter anyway, decided to call her anyway before the news broke about Logan's passing. And the little insider trading. She sold some stock. And now, listen, I'm not a business guy. Like, I know what insider trading is, but I wonder, why did he feel the need to tell Kendall this? Because he can go to jail? Oh, he's done.
What would Kendall do?
What do you
You know what I'm saying? Is like, so obviously the daughter sold the stock and
because of the information that the father gave.
Right, but why would he tell Kendall? That's what I'm wondering.
So I think does
he think Kendall has power to?
Yeah, I mean,
because Hugo's claiming that he didn't. Right when he asks him, "Did you make a call to her that day?" He says like, no comment.
He said, "No, I don't recall."
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I think he's looking for like
some support, maybe.
Yeah, but also some help. I mean, I think Kendall. Listen, regardless of the official titles, like it's not like Kendall doesn't have any pull. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He can cover things up. He can press buttons and have people do things. And Hugo can't. He's just a lawyer. Like, he's not a bigwig at the company. Yeah. He's just a lawyer. And so he has done something that, like, if you do that, I mean, he could be recommended for being disbarred. He could be, like, it's jail time. It is jail time. It's a big, big, big deal. And I think that he kind of goes to Kendall because he's a little bit of a guilty conscience. He kind of has to get something off his chest. And it's also like a plea for, can you please help me?
And now Kendall, obviously, when we see at the end of that episode,
but it's the second he said it to him, I went, you fucking moron.
Right.
Because it's blackmail.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
And it's good blackmail, too.
It is very good blackmail.
It's not like, oh, you're fired. It's like, you're fired and your life's over.
But, yeah, so we'll circle back to that when we talk about the end of the episode.
Sure.
So then kind of in the middle of this, again, you had some people speaking about Logan. People that weren't that close with him, which they talk about in the after the episode. But I think the biggest thing that happens. Well, actually, let's talk about
have another picture.
Yeah, let's talk about Greg and Tom. They have a pretty minor role in this episode specifically. I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter complaining about Greg this season. He's definitely taken a back seat, and a lot of people have been saying that he's kind of just this annoying guy now.
He's always been this annoying guy.
I still find him funny. Like,
I think he's hilarious.
But he definitely hasn't been as prominent. But I think that's on purpose because with Logan's death and everything, it's really been about the kids so far this season, which I think it should be.
Yep.
But I think Greg's role will continue to go up. Obviously,
How funny was it, the scene when they're talking about so it's found, there is a piece of paper found in Logan's safe. It's not a will, it's like an addendum. It's not the will.
Oh, okay.
No, it's a signed, undated like sheet that probably at some point was going to go to a lawyer to be officially officiated into the official thing. So it's unofficial, but it is Logan's.
Yep.
Okay. He did write it. And Greg's name is written on there with a question mark, and everything's in pencil, and some of it's typed. And it says, paragraph 3 on there, it says that Kendall is to take over. Now, it assumes that the paper that's the typed portion of the paper was done about 4 years ago, which would put us
season 1.
Season 1.
Yes.
Prior to the very first episode.
Yes.
Is when this was made. But we haven't seen it since. And Kendall's name starts
as an underline.
There's a line. It starts as an underline, but we don't know if it's an underline or a cross out, which Shiv brings up.
Yeah.
But Greg's name is also written on there, and I thought that was so. This whole thing about the paper, for me, it was moderately annoying, and then also for me, there were some of the funniest moments in this episode had to do with this piece of paper.
Yes.
So the conversation with Frank and Carl and Jerry. Yes, that would be a funny joke. Best line. Right. And then I actually really liked Greg's sense of humor when he said, because I mean he's trying, because we're talking about Greg, right? So he's trying to stay relevant. But I the first time I watched it, I literally laughed out loud with Frank when Frank was laughing after Greg says, so then a natural conclusion would be that I'm number 2 in line, or I'd be his number 2. And I was like, you idiot. Wait, but you goofball.
But let's
what are you
talk
talking
about that for what do you think that meant?
I think Greg's a moron. What do you mean?
Why did he write Greg ?
Roman says it's probably just to see if he can remember your name, which I think is funny.
I honestly, but we've talked about that. We think that there was a chance that Greg.
Sure. I mean, if you think about it, right? Nobody ever, and I'm moderately superstitious, so I don't want to jinx anything, obviously, but like, you don't know when you're going to go.
Yeah.
Even if like it's a horrible cancer diagnosis, they give you an estimate. They don't. No one ever gives you the date. This is the date you're going to go.
Right.
So I mean, who knows if Logan in season 1 when he takes it off the table for Kendall and says, I might be around another 5-10 years.
Yeah.
Well, he was only around for 4.
Right.
But like, what if he had been around for 10? You telling me that in 10 years Greg wouldn't be ready? I think he would.
Well, I totally agree with you. Yeah.
I don't see why not. And I feel like 10 years with Greg's learning under Logan would have done him some real good.
Right. Because I think if you look at all the players right now, the kids to me at the time of Logan's death were kind of dead to him, right? Other than Roman, maybe. Sure. Tom, who may have had a chance before, but if he's divorces Shiv, then you lose the familial connection.
Yep.
Greg has the familial connection.
Unless there's a child involved.
Right. But I'm trying to think pre-Logan's death, right? So, but then you look at Greg, you say he has the familial connection, though it's kind of loose. And I think it's so important when we look back in the fact that he chose Logan over his uncle. I think that was a big moment for Greg because it was a risky moment. He lost out of the will from the uncle. And he said, I'm committing to Logan and what I have at this company. And I think Logan respected that.
Sure.
And I think it's the little things.
He was pretty big on loyalty. And
I think, though, he appreciates, he talks lecturing the kids all the time that he gave them everything. And Greg, although he did get the job there because of nepotism, he has worked his way up through a lot of maneuvering. He has learned.
To an extent, but it's not like he started off as the COO or something. I mean, he got not even a management job. I don't think he's Tom's peon.
Right. So I think that Logan's definitely takes into account those little things that he sees there. That's all I'm thinking. Right. I don't necessarily think that Greg will succeed now that Logan's dead. I think there was a bigger chance when Logan was alive. I'm wondering, though, now looking at that will, right? Where do you land? Was it crossed out or was it underlined? I think it was both. I think it was done intentionally. I think Logan did it so this exact situation would happen and everyone would be fucking confused. Right?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Because I'm starting to look back at this whole series and wonder if this whole series is about Kendall somehow turning into Logan because of how shitty of a father he was. So, like, Logan unintentionally, by being a bad dad, made him what he said he needs to be, like a killer.
Well, so
right?
as I was going to say, I've watched a lot of videos, and so I'm probably referencing like 3 different videos I've seen.
Yeah.
But the one thing that he says at the end of season 2 to Kendall before he sends him on his way.
Yeah.
And
on the boat.
Yeah, and Kendall is, when he leaves, he said like he's on his way to go to jail essentially. You know what I mean? Like he's going to take responsibility, and he doesn't. He throws Logan under the bus, which Logan is probably like one of the proudest moments for Logan in his life. But he says to him, "You're not a killer, and you need to be a killer." And I think that the death of his father and seeing all of the chaos and the it's one of those like things where you don't know what you have until it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea that in this very moment, the Carl, Jerry, and Frank could literally just ruin their whatever. Like the show would be done based on what they say. I actually was happy with Stewie in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it's obviously to his own benefit.
Yes.
Like there's going to be something happening there. Mm-hmm. Okay. And Frank even calls him out. He goes, "What? So you can puppet master this too?" But I think that it's a cool move, even if it's to his own benefit. Even if there's some backhanded
and he supported
thing.
him, hugging him and stuff. He showed
They're
some
friends.
actual. Right.
But this is business.
Yeah.
So there's got to be something more in it for Stewie. I think Stewie understands that he definitely is not ever going to be any sort of puppet master for Frank, Carl, or Jerry.
No. 100%. Well, let's talk about where this episode kind of leaves off. So Roman and Kendall
are voted by the entire board.
Co-CEOs. Shiv throws a hissy fit.
Ugh,
I mean, we could go on and on about Shiv just being really entitled and thinking she has claim to this when really she's done the least work out of any of them.
Yeah,
but
she's a brat.
I think that was probably a smart move. I think Kendall and Roman do make a good team. But then obviously the PR team, Hugo and who was the other girl? Something with an A. Carolina. They come, they're like,
I love Carolina.
She wants to do the press about Logan.
They have to.
Put some bad things out maybe. About his
well, to make the so at the end of the last episode, Connor's wedding, when Roman says, "Look, there's Dad," and he shows his phone. And
the stock went
price
down.
dropping, and it's because when there's uncertainty at the top, your money's not safe, especially if you're just a regular.
And they
investor.
want to lessen the importance Logan had.
Right.
Yes.
And Roman and Kendall, at least at first, Roman and Kendall are both like, "Yeah, we don't need to shit on Dad."
Right.
We don't want to put out a bunch of bad press about Dad. I think the reality, though, is that if done the right way, it makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. I don't think you have to shit on Logan to say that, like, it's very obvious the guy was 84, 85 years old, whatever it was. And so, like, the average or the age of retiring in America, at least, is 65.
Yeah.
So you get another 20 years, 15, 20 years out of somebody. Mm-hmm. Last 10, maybe? It wouldn't even surprise me if I was an investor to have it be that, like, he was grooming his kids to become CEO, getting them ready to take over for him, and that they were making more decisions and he was giving them more power. And I think that they are still so controlled by it. It's almost like they think that he's going to come out of the back and go, "I didn't tell you could do anything." Yeah. Because it's the day after he died. So they're still kind of in that mode of that.
Mm-hmm. And they're still keeping, like last episode you said, the day. Every episode is a day.
Yeah.
So far,
it's literally the next day.
Yeah, it's
Logan
cool.
hasn't been dead 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's for Roman, at least, is where he kind of pushes back and is like, let's not just rattle off the shit about my dad. He's not even in the ground yet.
Mm-hmm. And this is where Kendall's frustrating me, because it's like, all right, nice. You and Roman are co-CEOs. You guys make a good team together. And then he goes behind his back at the end of the episode.
Yeah, because I didn't buy it first. I don't buy anything in the show.
Right.
I don't buy anything in the show.
Yeah.
I loved, first of all, can we talk a little bit? And I know we bounce around a lot, but there's a lot that happens. We were following like 10 main characters.
Yeah.
Even though it's really about the kids. The other ones have like substantial.
Marsha came back.
That's one of the places I wanted to go. But Jerry is back. I told you when we did our podcast last week that Jerry's still in. And yes, everybody knows, and it's going to be awkward. Yeah. And it was. Mm-hmm. But she's back, and there's nothing in writing.
Right.
And Roman season 1 wouldn't have said shit, and Roman called her out in that meeting.
Well, there was something in writing, but Tom deleted it. he had the emails. Remember, he told Greg on the phone on the plane, he's like, delete.
Is that what that was?
I believe so.
Interesting.
Maybe, unless it's something else that'll be revealed later, but I think that Logan had sent him his unofficial plans moving forward, which included firing Jerry.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was just impressed with Roman, who has been very submissive, even on like a sexual level, whatever, with Jerry. They have a very bizarre relationship.
Yes.
But like, and then for him to be like, yeah, but this is really serious. You're not taking my company from me. Sorry, you're out, kind of deal.
Yeah.
You know, like we'll keep you in. You're right. Logan was sour on you. I'm not.
Yeah.
But you're not going to take my job.
Yeah.
That was kind of dope on Roman's part, I would say. You know.
And I'm also surprised at how Roman's been handling Logan's death. Obviously, again, it's the day after, but the way he said like he pre-grieved makes a lot of sense, because if you look back at that whole season, he's always very sensitive about the topic of Logan dying. So it's definitely something that's been in his head for years.
Oh, it's bullshit, dude. He hasn't pre-grieved. I think he's saying that because he's either in denial or we're talking about 24 hours. We watch it over the course of a week, but we're talking about 24 hours later. He hasn't had time to process shit. And by the way, this multi-billion-dollar company is about to fall out from underneath you.
Yeah.
You don't have time.
Right.
He's not going to sit there and think of his dad.
So what did you think of Marcia coming back?
So this is where I wanted to.
Yeah.
This is a good spot, I feel like, to wrap it all up on. So after Kendall hears Hugo yelling at, apparently it turns out to be his daughter.
Yeah.
He goes upstairs. First person who's there.
Marcia.
Yeah. That's so good. That's so good.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Yep. Marcia's back.
Yes.
And I knew there was a part of me that was like, how long until Marcia's back?
I know. She always comes back.
It could have been a cool way to end the series too, like just as like a cliffhanger, like look who's back. And that way you never know if in like 20 years they're going to come back with some shit. But no, she's back. Episode 4, she's back. Carrie's out.
Yep.
Carrie's out. Wasn't even allowed upstairs. Thought that was interesting. It could be potentially, they were saying something about the sexual relationship between Carrie and Logan. And I think it would be a twist / interesting if Carrie's pregnant or if there's something there.
That would be interesting.
Marcia sells Logan's New York penthouse apartment for $63 million on a spit handshake to Connor.
Yes.
Right there, less than 24 hours after the death. What did you think? Go off for a minute about Marcia.
I think
where does this go from here?
She somehow always finds her way back, despite all this. And I think we've seen since season 1 that she knows how to play the game. But I wonder what's her end goal. I'm not sure of, because obviously she does. I mean, her and Logan were never officially divorced. They've kept that PR outside that they were still somewhat together. She claims that they talked every night, right? You know,
intimately.
Yeah. So what do you think she wants out of this?
I think she wants his voting shares, which was what was supposed to happen at the end of episode 1, season 1.
Yep.
And
the son too. She got him like a position. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't think she has any personal connection to anyone there. I think she's ready to go fuck you all. You know, in terms, it's all about her.
Of course it's all about her. I just wonder what is all about her. Is it business? Is it, I mean, she's about to get $63 million.
Yeah, right.
Right off the bat. I mean, for me, that would be enough. I'd shut up after that.
Yeah. What'd you think of her handling of the Carrie?
It was rude.
It was
rude. I mean, I think that, listen, at some point, right? Like, you're not, and I think after a certain age as well, like, Marcia and Logan were not married for love.
No.
I don't believe that they were for a second.
No.
She was the wife that was of the right. I'm not saying this is correct. Okay?
Yeah.
This is not my view. I'm saying for Logan, he needed someone that like in public, Carrie looks like Logan's assistant.
Right.
Because she's so much younger. But they were in love. I believe that Carrie loved Logan.
She clearly was. Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I don't think Logan would never show that to anybody. But I didn't believe that Marcia and Logan were like this lovey-dovey old couple. She's there to be the old female face to his old male face so that they look right
in public. It's the PR thing,
Right. And so I knew that from the beginning. I've always thought she was conniving. We always thought that in the earlier seasons that she was going to be the one that destroyed everything. I mean,
she might be.
And now she's back.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest. I think it was almost a bigger shock to see her. I felt more like of that fear kind of like, ooh, than when Logan was dying.
Yeah.
Because when Logan's dying, I didn't even think about Marsha. I thought about
Reaper.
Logan.
Yeah.
She was just, and it's like she's just there.
Yep.
I went, oh shit, this is not going to be good. And I thought it was rude, the handling of the Carrie situation. And I really don't like that the bodyguards listened to Marsha.
Yeah.
They were the ones who were like, oh yeah, put her out the back. And then I thought it was nice that Roman kind of jumps in and was like,
Roman shows
because
some
they all
heart
know,
there,
like, one, you're not our mom, right?
Yeah.
You're not our mom. And then two, like, Carrie's been around and you haven't been. Like, I was weirded out by that. Like, I didn't know why the bodyguards listen. Because in my opinion, right, they should be listening to Roman and Kendall and all of them. Like, what is Marsha? Like, what? Mm-hmm. You know? I don't know. It was a weird moment. And then they had the dogs coming in and sniffing everything because the president or the... I don't know. It's a weird situation.
But before we leave off, let's talk about that tweet I sent you the other day about the one shot where Shiv,
it's bullshit,
looks out into the hallway.
Yep.
Greg enters. They make eye contact, and she like just turns her head away. What did that mean?
So she's staring at Tom. So right before that, 30 seconds before that little clip. This is why it's bullshit, because I started rewatching the episode the second you tweeted that, or you sent me that tweet. Because I was like, did I miss? Like, that seems like ridiculous. But it's totally taken out of context.
Out of context, yeah.
So when they're all going into that room, right? And I think it's right before the scene where she says, dude, some of the sarcasm in this show is so good. When Jerry says to Tom, she's like, oh, you're filled with grief and sadness. Yeah. Watch out because you're getting your melancholy everywhere while he's eating the hors d'oeuvre. Yeah. So good, man. Mm-hmm. It's right before that kind of scene. Or when they're, no, it was, is it Frank or Carl? Someone makes a speech, and then Tom is
it's neither of them. It's that other random guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's right before that scene, because that's where they're going. Mm-hmm. They're all heading into hear those words about Logan. And Tom walks in and looks at Shiv, and Shiv looks away and then looks back when Tom looks away.
Yes.
And Greg's eyes meet Shiv's eyes as she's looking back at Tom, and then she looks away right away. And I personally believe it's because she knows that it's essentially like looking at the same person. Yeah. Whatever she does, Greg's going to walk in the other room, one of the disgusting boys.
Yes.
He's going to walk in the other room and go, Tom, Shiv was looking at you while you were... Like, you know, it's a childish type thing. The implication with the tweet was that Greg might be the father of the kid. And I was like, what is going on?
I don't think it. It's just fun to play with the idea, you know?
I know. All right, so very end of the very, very last scene of the episode. Kendall walks up to Hugo and says, let's talk shit about Dad, basically.
Yeah. And I can you have to listen to me because I have the blackmail on you.
He says, unless you want me to take out the strap on.
Yes.
You know?
Great line.
Yeah, it's fantastically done. And it's unbeknownst to Roman.
Yes.
So in closing of this episode, where do we go from here?
It's a good question.
And at this point, right? Fuck the season. What happens on Sunday?
Well, they're obviously going to meet with Mattson, I think. I don't think that this decision that Kendall makes at the end of the episode is going to ruin him and Roman's relationship. I think they'll have a scuffle about it, and Roman saying that's not the right move. But I think from Kendall's perspective, I think it probably was the right business move.
Right.
So, and I think that'll eventually get across to Roman. So I don't think it's going to have as huge implications between their relationship as one might think, but maybe.
So, really quick, we've seen throughout this season, because of the way that season 3 ended, we've seen now this camaraderie, finally, between the three kids, where they've normally been at each other's throats. Mm-hmm. The interesting thing, to me anyway, is that the second a piece of paper came out that said Kendall's name, Shiv is the one initially to say underlined or crossed out. Like, they're immediately against each other.
And then she's always like, oh, I don't mean like I don't support you, but it's fucking awful.
Which it was really bad, because it's like, Shiv, what you're saying right now is not going to help you. It's going to help these other people. Like,
exactly.
Wouldn't
you rather have
keep
your
it in the
there?
family?
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, wouldn't you at least keep it in the family?
Yeah.
So whatever, that's one thing. But I guess this is why I just feel like all three of them are so bratty. Like they're just so pathetic that like if the slightest thing rubs them the wrong way, their whole worlds fall apart.
Yeah.
Which makes me concerned about the way that Roman would react to something like this. It may screw everything. Listen, is Kendall acting in the killer way that his father would want him to? Yes, 100%. Does that mean that Roman has no say? Nope, because now they're both co-CEOs. Yeah. So, like, what does that mean?
Interim, too. So
yeah, but come on. This is why they didn't want Jerry to be interim CEO. Yeah. Because when you're interim, it still means you're there. Yeah. The time frame is arbitrary.
And if you do a good job, you might stay there, too.
That's the point.
Yeah.
So, like, they're in a significant... They've succeeded in a significant power play, I would say.
Yeah.
But they could fuck themselves because Kendall went behind Roman's back.
I mean, that's been the story of this whole show, right?
Dude, it's so crazy. I don't think at this point, of course, it's whatever you don't think is what's going to happen. But I don't see Greg being CEO at this point.
No, I don't either.
I don't, especially with Logan's death and everything else. I don't see it being Tom.
I mean, listen, this show started with Kendall in the car, listen to the music in his headphones. So after this episode, I feel like every episode we're going to have a different opinion on who's going to do it. But after this episode, I'm starting to wonder if maybe this whole show really was about Kendall turning into his father.
It wouldn't surprise me.
No.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean,
it's going to be interesting.
And I don't even know if I would be upset.
I don't either.
I don't even know if I would be upset. I feel like they've had their biggest moment.
Yeah.
It's the death. I think it came at the right time. I'm not upset about it. It's not Game of Thrones.
It's like Game of Thrones, though. Seriously, whoever you put on the Iron Throne, you're going to have some people who don't like it. You're going to have people who like it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. But there was so much tension leading up to Logan's death that it was incredible every week.
Yeah.
Everything now is just a bonus.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is like an epilogue. Yeah.
I'm very happy with this show.
I am too. And hopefully they finish strong. We'll see, guys. We'll be back next week to review episode 5. Before we leave today, we get a question of the day.
We do. We have a fan question. A video
big
submitted.
Viewer.
Yeah, big viewer. Which it's sad because Matt's away in Dublin. He wasn't here for the big viewer.
Yeah.
But let's take a look at this fan. Oh, look at this.
Looks familiar.
What's going on, movie mob? Matt from Paris.
Hey.
You can see right there. Fan question today. I'm in Paris. The city of sex, some might say. So I got a sexy question for two sexy guys. My question is, what is your guys' favorite movie or TV relationship? Mine is Jon and Ygritte in Game of Thrones. Would love to know your thoughts.
No surprise there.
Go Boston.
I love it, dude.
It's a good question.
He's such. I love it. And he said it to us last week. He said, "I'll submit a question." From
yes,
overseas.
He did. He came through.
He did. I didn't know if he would come through or not, but he totally came through.
Yeah.
That's so Matt. Cool, dude. Listen, Matty boy. I hope you're having fun, man. I really do. It's so cool. He's in fucking Paris, bro.
Dangerous place right now.
Belly.
But good
Everybody's
question.
Beating each other up with baguettes over there.
Yeah, I know. But when I think a good love relationship
Your favorite
in movies and stuff, I always think of the love theme, the score. And when I'm thinking like Anakin and Padme Across the Stars, like that beautiful song.
Interesting.
I'm thinking Michael and Apollonia.
Apollonia, yeah.
That's a good music. One. You know what I'm saying? Like the music is key to me. Okay. I'm gonna go with an interesting one here.
Okay.
Because I don't think most people would say it, but I'm going Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann from Pirates, the first 3 trilogy. Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley.
Wow.
And a lot of that does have to do with the theme. I do love their love theme.
They have a good love story.
Yeah.
Can you guess mine?
I want to say Michael and Apollonia, but I feel like that's so short-lived.
It is very short-lived. That's a great love story, though. It's just your favorite couple.
Is that your pick?
No.
Is it a movie or a TV show? TV show. Christopher and Aunt.
Close. Tony and Carmela.
Really?
Love them.
Really?
And there's a scene. It's actually Edie Falco. She said in an interview it's her favorite scene, but is when they're sitting out by the pool and there's not even any real like lines or anything, but they just love each other, know? And they're obviously, if you've seen The Sopranos, like he's insane. He's yelling, he's a cheater, he's crazy, and he does all these different things. And she's just always there. She's always there, and it's real. It's a real love. They've known each other since they were like 12 or whatever it is. And and they're modern. I like the Apollonia thing from a movie. For a movie, I would say Michael and Apollonia, and for a TV show, I would say Tony and Carmela. And I just really love them.
Yeah.
Forget the mafia crap. I just mean on a couple relationship level.
No, it's a good, and obviously it's a show, so their relationship was spanned out of all those seasons.
I really don't like Adriana and
oh yeah, it's definitely a toxic.
That's toxic as fuck. It's horrible.
Yeah,
it's horrible. You know, realistic but horrible.
Yeah. But
No.
great question, Matt.
Great
Thank you
question.
for sending that in.
Really,
big
really
fan
good
of the
question.
Show. Big fan of the
big
show.
Big fan. City of Sex. Enjoy.
Perry.
Don't be silly, kid. Wrap your willy.
But thank you for watching, guys. As always, the Movie Mob podcast drops every Friday at 6 p.m. We got Sidelined with Matt Sampson on Wednesdays at 12 p.m. and then Movie Roulette on Mondays at 12 p.m., guys. Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. If you want a question answered like that good fan right there, put it down below. We'll answer it next week for you. Matt will be back in studio. May have some more guests coming in. We'll see what happens, guys. Until then,
it's going to be a big summer.
How you doing?